So I'm letting I'm letting the space for our next lecturer. It's Larisa Danilova. I hope she is with us now. Sorry for a bit of delay with time, but I think we just need to be flexible with timing. The same in case of dam removal.
Hi, my name is Larisa Danilova. I'm from Russia, from the Institute of Maritime Spatial Planning, Yermak, Northwest. And today I'm happy to present you the interactive simulation game, If I Were a Decision Maker, that is developed by our institute. The main driver for this was the coalition Clean Baltic and Mikhail Durkin, who pushed us to do this and involved us in this process of together work of Coalition Clean Baltic for environment and so on. And how to manage my presentation? Okay. Sorry, but okay. Now it works. Okay. Why we decided to do this and why Mikhail wanted to develop such a game? Because a lot of people does not know how the sea use is managed. Some people doesn't know what is ecosystem-based approach and why we need it and what are the benefits of MSP implementation and ecosystem-based approach implementation for the planning process. The problem is that some people who live far away from the coast, from the sea, they are not interested at all in ocean health and productivity and how they affect it in their everyday living. Those who want to take part in the management of the sea don't know how to do it, how to be involved in such a process of management. For whom is the game? The game is, of course, it is for people, for general public, to inform what they lost and what need to be done. For active public who is involved in such processes, who is how it is, who wants the environment to become healthy, to demonstrate how to deal with ecosystem-based approach in a very simplified form, of course, and for decision makers to involve them in ecosystem-based approach and to get support from them, not only according to their responsibilities, but to involve them personally and emotionally. And of course, the game is for young generation, for youth to educate and bring on board for some future activities. And we decided that the form of the game, the form of interactive game is the most suitable for this, and that it need to be brainstorming, active and fun. And to be so, we need to have some teamwork and some competition. Game main objective. The main objective is to inform general public and stakeholders what is ecosystem-based approach in marine spatial planning and to demonstrate it in a simplified and visual form. Game tasks. First is, of course, is the demonstration of ecosystem-based management capabilities when planning the development of an area. It can be territory or marine area in a clear and visible interactive form. Modeling the process of making planning decisions and conflicts resolving through the wide dialogue with the public and with the stakeholders. Improving teamwork skills of the players and fostering a personal sense of responsibility for the decisions made. Game is quite flexible and adaptable. And the game methodology allows us to adapt the game for very different concrete tasks which are important for the region or for community who takes part in the game itself and in its development. It can be used for marine and land areas, for river or lake basin, for some sensitive region. But what we need to develop such a game for some region, we need to have some conflict between users, possible users, conflict between some users, some business and environment. Because if we don't have the conflict, the spatial conflict, we will not have how it is. It will be too easy to play, and we will not get achieve the goals. What are how it is. So we need to have conflicts. Game is quite flexible because we can use it for participants of different degrees of training and skills. It can be very skilled and very well-known experts, and then they think that game is a little bit too easy for them. And from another side, it can be youth, and they said sometimes for us that it is extremely difficult and complicated to understand how to deal with it. So we can be very flexible if we know for whom is this concrete game session. The game can be adapted for different age categories, from school children to the professors, for example, for representatives of different sectors of the economy and administrative bodies, for different number of participants and teams, but it is a little bit too more difficult because we need to know how many teams, how many specificities, how many rules we can use, how many time we have. Of course, all these need to be taken into account. What are the challenges? The challenge is that it is handmade product. Each version of the game is sharpened for the region with its specificity and specific problems and sectoral conflicts and so on. And we need to customize the game for these local specific tasks. And the second challenge is that we can't play online. And COVID restrictions in this year, they stopped new game sessions. And the playing the game online requires its complete rework and methodology refreshing. So it's some another game, I think. What is game plot? Area in which the events of the game take place has every time its map, its history, and its society, as each area on the Earth. Specific conflicts between sectoral activities, as well as between the economic development and health of the ecosystem, need to be solved by the management plan. And this is usual for our real life. And players prepare proposals for the development of sectors under conditions of specific constraints of the game, which are done for them: environmental, social, financial constraints. Management plans prepared by teams must be presented to the public, and winners need to get a majority of votes in support of its implementation. The winner is not the best team. The winner is the best plan, and the best plan for us is those one which most of game participants want to be implemented. That is the place, the area where they want to live if this plan is implemented. Number of teams. It can be from 2 to 4 teams to have some competition among them. Number of players. In our practice, it was from 10 to 50 people, but 10 is little bit too, it's not enough. And we need 15 or 16 players at least. But as more as it's interesting when we have few teams. Players package may include, of course, we provide the players with map of this area, playing field, so named, the team motivation card, because each team have its own task, players role and mission. Usually we have from 10 to 15 roles. It can be ecologist, sailor, journalists, fishing, and so on and so on. Sectors development proposals, of course, and a few map of natural resources, biodiversity, vulnerable areas, and so on and so on. There are a lot of information. What is the usual plan of a game session? Usually we start from the tour de table, because players need to know each other. Game presentation, of course, and brief training. Then the formation of teams and distribution of playing roles or missions. Then the players review the received information and role tasks and discuss it in the teams. Teams select and present the how it is general scenarios and what goals they will try to achieve. Then the most long time is for development of the plans and presentation of the planning solutions. And of course, voting and choosing a winner team and the best management plan. If we want to have such a plan of the game session, it takes from 3 to 4 hours. If we want to add some block, for example, socio-economic assessment or environmental assessment, then it takes little extra, it needs extra time and extra preparation and extra people, because some players they then get a role of or of some environmental or economic experts who assessed the plans. Playing field and conditions. Well-prepared playing fields and game conditions are pretty similar to modeling region where we which we want to present, with its real problems and conflicts, but does not completely coincide with it, so as not to cause sectoral conflicts among the players. This allows us to simulate conflict situations that are necessary for training from one side, and to avoid well-known mistakes and literal duplication of existing conflicts, and that enable players to use their skills, but not to be limited in their planning decisions, especially when among the players there are some officials or politicians, because they have some political faces and some responsibilities, and we need there to be the players of the game. It needs to be the game, so they can be how it is they are not limited with their position and sectoral interests. What are the tasks and key priorities of the teams? As I said before, the game is flexible, and the tasks of the teams and players' roles can be flexibly changed, and it depends on the goals of a particular version of the game, the number of players and the session time we have. As a rule, a specific task is assigned to the team so that the plans don't resemble one another. For example, a team can achieve the goal of developing or recycling economy or blue economy, green or developing green energy, or the main thing is to improve living standards, and then the economy is more important than environment, and so on. Each player has his role, as I said before, and sometimes his role not the same as the goal of the team. So that they need to have very close dialogue in the team to be successful in their planning process. All this agreed in advance by a game group of developers, because we want to get a certain result, renewal of the players and society's view of regional management. And we need to take into account, of course, the available resources each time. What was done we started in 2018, and in these 2 years, we developed 4 game versions with different conditions and played 12 game sessions in 4 countries. We played in Russia, Latvia, Lithuania, and Poland. We trained 10 young moderators. We translated game into 2 languages. The main language, of course, is Russian, of course, and we translated it into English, and now it is translating into Lithuanian. And 350 players took part in our sessions, from 15 to 75 years old. There are shown the organizations that supported the game, and first of all, it was Coalition Clean Baltic and WWF. Then we developed the special version of the game for the project Baltic Rim. This project is about the management of marine cultural heritage, and this version of the game was to bring underwater cultural heritage management into maritime spatial planning. We had special game session for the Council of the Baltic Sea States in the youth camp in Gdańsk previous summer. I think here are our winning teams. And that's all. Thank you.